Have you ever heard the story of human pork buns? If not, it doesn't matter. Because back in 1993, Hong Kong witnessed a real-life case of human pork buns. A mistress killed the legal wife, dismembered her body into pieces, and took the remains to the kitchen of her roasted meat shop. During this process, the wife's corpse reanimated twice. But the mistress wasn't fazed. She proceeded to toss the wife's head into boiling oil, leaving only a bare skull. She then drenched the remaining body parts in scalding oil, roasted them in a specialized oven for roasting geese, and sold them as pork buns to unsuspecting customers. In July 1993, countless Hong Kong citizens flooded hospitals across the city, demanding doctors examine their stomachs for traces of human tissue. When asked why, several citizens explained they had all patronized a restaurant called Mei Qi Roasted Meat Shop. The shop was famous for its delicious and affordable roasted meats, attracting large crowds daily. But the problem was, the shop's kitchen, where the roasted meats were prepared, was the very site where a recent victim's body had been destroyed. The killer had dismembered the victim into pieces and turned them into pork for buns for sale. And these customers had all bought and eaten the shop's pork buns in the days following the case. They had no idea whether they'd consumed human or pork meat. So they rushed to hospitals for stomach examinations. After sharing their story, they immediately took the medical checks. But the horror of the human pork buns case had only just begun. On July 8, 1993, a young couple was hanging out along Hong Kong's Tai Po Road, Kam Shan Country Park. As they reached the shoreline, they spotted a black garbage bag. The bag appeared stuffed and heavy. Curiosity got the better of them. They opened the bag and peered inside, only to be scarred for life. Inside were golden fried chunks of meat, but not ordinary meat. They were human remains. A hand, a thigh without a knee, and a lower leg. Terrified, the couple immediately called the police. Upon arrival, officers cordoned off the beach and began their investigation. Forensic analysis confirmed the bag contained human remains, parts of thighs, calves, arms, and internal organs. As the couple had observed, most of the remains had been drenched in boiling liquid, essentially deep-fried. After further examination, the coroner concluded the victim was female, likely dead for 3 to 4 days, and aged between 25 to 35. The police split into 2 teams. One canvassed the area for witnesses, while the other checked recent missing persons reports. Their investigation soon identified the victim as Chung Choi Kuan, the missing co-owner of Mei Qi Roasted Meat Shop. Chung, a 33-year-old married woman, had been missing for 3 days. With the victim identified, and given the remains exposure to extreme heat, the police turned their focus to the roasted meat shop. Investigations revealed Mei Qi Roasted Meat Shop was co-owned by 33-year-old Lo Fuxiang and his 33-year-old wife Chung Choi Kuan. The first branch was in Tai Po Hui Temporary Market. Starting from scratch, Lo's culinary skills and Chung's hospitality made the shop wildly successful. Their meats were flavorful, affordable, and diverse. They even delivered pre-orders to nearby restaurants, markets, and fish stalls, earning rave reviews. Business boomed so much that they opened a second branch in Po Wu Garden Market, hiring the beautiful and business-savvy Chin Yin Ho to manage it. Chin wasn't just good at sales, she was a roasted meat expert. While most shops used frozen pork shoulder, which retained blood and compromised texture, Chin insisted on fresh cuts, hand-picked from the market daily. To maximize demand, they roasted only 3 pigs per day, often selling out by evening. Profit soared, but so did trouble. Lo Fuxiang, once honest and hardworking, had one flaw: lust. Wealth amplified it. He began an affair with Chin, even fathering a son with her, all unbeknownst to Chung. Lo juggled both households, visiting Chin's Po Wu Garden apartment under the guise of work. For years, Chung noticed nothing. But secrets don't stay buried. In April 1993, overhearing neighborhood gossip, Chung confronted Chin at the branch. Storming in, Chung repeatedly asserted her status as the lawful owner, warning Chin to back off. Chin, unfazed, admitted the affair outright. She even flaunted their son, claiming Lo would divorce Chung for her. Furious, Chung hurled insults and left, vowing revenge. At home, she demanded Lo cut ties with Chin or divorce. Though unfaithful, Lo valued Chung's years of partnership. He offered Chin money to leave. Chin refused. She'd borne his child. Why should she settle for scraps? She blamed Chung, her hatred festering. Meanwhile, Chung's loathing for Chin grew. For 3 months their feud simmered. Then, on July 5, Lo vanished. Chung, suspecting he was with Chin, stormed to the branch. Neighbors later testified they saw Chung leave angrily that night, never to return. Police identified Lo and Chin as prime suspects. Under interrogation, Chin confessed, unveiling horrors beyond imagination. Chin admitted, that night, Chung barged into her apartment, shouting insults and demanding Lo. Chin sneered, daring her to search the place. Finding no trace of Lo, Chung turned on Chin. Their screaming match escalated into a brawl. Scratched and hair-pulled, Chin grabbed a fruit knife, stabbing Chung's abdomen and chest. As Chung screamed, Chin dragged her to the bathroom, silencing her with more stabs. Bleeding out, Chung soon lay motionless. Chin sat with the corpse, thinking a lot. She believed that with Chung gone, she could claim Lo as her husband. So she resolved to dispose of the body, permanently. After changing her blooded clothes, Chin fetched butcher tools from the shop, got cleavers, saws, and meat hooks. That night in the bathroom, she began dissecting Chung's body. She brought out the organs, then began to handle the other part of the body. While sawing, the arms went smoothly. The legs proved horrifying. When it came to the mid-cut, the corpse suddenly sat up, eyes wide, guts hollowed. Such a grotesque sight. Terrified, Chin dropped the saw, apologizing frantically. When nothing else happened, her fear turned to rage. Unaware this was a post-mortem muscle spasm, she flipped the corpse face down, sawed through the spine, and decapitated it. After cleaning the bathroom, she bagged the remains in 4 trash bags and smuggled them to the shop at dawn. There she planned to turn them into barbecued pork. Nobody would ever know what kind of meat it was. Still shaken by the reanimation, Chin first dumped the head into a braising vat. As it sank, she turned to chop the limbs. Then, thud, 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 the vat echoed with skull-on-metal knocks. Learning from earlier, Chin steeled herself. She lifted the lid with a meat hook and froze. The head had resurfaced, hair splayed, eyes and mouth gaping, steam hissing from nostrils. It stared directly at her. Chin was petrified and dropped the hook. The clanging lid snapped her back. Glaring at the kitchen equipment, she vowed to end this. She fished out the head and tossed it into a fryer. The knocking ceased. Then she felt relieved and turned to the limbs. She ladled scorching oil over them, then hooked some into the roasting oven. As the flesh sizzled, she muttered, "Try haunting me now." Some undercooked remains were dumped at Kam Shan Country Park. The rest were mixed into the next day's barbecued pork. Excess went into the trash. By morning, Chin resumed business as usual. Later, under police questioning, she confessed dawn approached and staff would arrive. So she left some remains unprocessed in the kitchen. Guided by Chin, officers searched the shop. The kitchen reeked of roasted meat. Golden barbecued pork hung everywhere. No one dared touch it. Donning gloves, they began their grim task. After a while, one officer vomited because they found toenails, painted with Polish, from the braising vat. Another opened the fryer and saw something he could never forget. A skull, still attached to long hair, floated atop the oil. The eyes and facial muscles had melted, leaving hollow sockets. The officer hooked it out, finding an UN melted ear. By the end, the team was traumatized. The sickening contrast, the aroma of barbecued pork amidst human remains, left them swearing off the dish forever. Then, police searched Chin's apartment, unearthing more evidence. Chin was arrested for her crime. In court, Hong Kong prosecutors pushed for a murder conviction, but the judge ruled it manslaughter. Chin had stabbed Chung in a heated fight. She received just 6 years. To this day, her release remains undisclosed. After the trial, local roasted meat shops saw business plummet. But rumors persist. Forensic teams never fully reassembled Chung's body. Were some fragments truly sold as pork? No one knows. That's all for now. If you enjoyed this case, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow Case Diaries. There are plenty more cases coming your way. Got thoughts on today's story? Drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. See you in the next one.